怎么知道公司的财务状况好不好？其实大家有没有想过这个问题呢？答案就在公司的 balance sheet 资产负债表。其实每间公司都一定要有自己的 balance sheet。那资产负债表呢 balance sheet 是一份财务报表，在汇报公司的 assets、liabilities 还有 shareholders equity。那 assets 可以分为 non-current asset 跟 current asset。在这个 non-current asset 的一些例子就包含了什么呢？ Office equipment, motor vehicle, land and building 还有 renovation。那 current asset 的一些例子呢，就包含了 inventory, cash in hand, cash at bank, trade receivable, fixed deposit 还有 prepayment。你只要加起来 non-current asset 和 current asset 等于的就是你的 total asset。Liabilities 呢就包含了 non-current liabilities 还有 current liabilities。那有什么例子呢？我们来看一下 non-current liabilities 的例子就有 mortgage, bonds payable 还有这个 long-term loan。在 current liabilities 的一些例子就有 accrual, trade payable 还有你的 short-term loan。一样的，你只要把这个 non-current liabilities 还有 current liabilities 加起来就等于你公司的 total liabilities。最后就是 equity 股本或者我们说的股权。那这部分呢是业主权益的部分，就是公司欠业主的债。其实这部分也不复杂， equity 呢其实是由 share capital 还有这个 retained earning 所组成的。那到这里你看懂了吗？其实简单来说其实 balance sheet 是什么呢？就是你的 total asset 等于 total liabilities 再加 shareholders equity。那如果你的 account 小姐姐或者做 account 的人呢，算来算去那个号码不一样的话呢，这时候就是小姐姐或者做 account 头大的时候了。所以如果大家想知道公司财务状况好不好，就需要靠 balance sheet。然后如果你看不懂呢，千万别装懂，可以来问我们，等你哦。好，经过了这个数月的 MCO 疫情却有增无减，几乎每天都接收到这个身边有人从此天人永隔的这个消息。那在这个疫情肆虐的情况下，有身边的人因为这个冠状病毒不幸的病逝，家属们可以怎么办？所以其实呢，我国有一些机构是提供了一些福利，还有这个援助给逝世者的家属，甚至逝者的这个雇主。你们知道有什么吗？首先是这个社会保险机构手松。然后其实很多人不晓得，其实我们国家这个手松有3个户口，然后每个户口都能在不同的情况下协助逝者家属或者逝者的雇主。所以呢，在这个手册第一个户口是属于工伤。那如果这个雇员因为在职场被感染，或者呢需要隔离，然后这个雇员只要能够被这个卫生局来确认，然后有官方的一些证明，那雇主其实你可以帮助你的雇员向这个手收申请这个薪金的津贴，最高可以达到薪金的80%。 OK。然后第二个呢，其实若雇员真的是不幸因在职场上感染然后离世 OK， 包括自雇人士以内，家属可以申请并得该逝世会员98%的薪金援助津贴直至终老所以这些呢，其实手收还是保留着所有的最终决定权，但是我们可以不妨去尝试申请。那你需要准备什么文件呢？好，首先呢就是封锁或隔离令及索赔申请表格，就是个 Brown 34，然后身份证复印本、病假单、打卡记录或雇主授权信、患病确诊报告、该雇员染病前6个月的薪资单，还有最后就是雇员银行存折正面或月结单的这个复印本。 好，下一个我们注意看到第二个户口是什么呢？是残疾或者退休及养老。那这样的户口是针对其实非工作感染这个疫情失事的会员，那所说将会跟着这个失事会员的薪金每个月提供高达65%的援助，直至终老。然后呢，第三个户口是我们的这个失业金，就是 EIS。OK， 只要雇主为雇员在这个12个月以上都有在投保的话，一旦雇主面对倒闭或者被逼之缩小这个公司的规模，那公司可以其实为这个会员呢申请最高3个月到6个月以内的这个失业金，就是 EIS。OK， 好，那中的所说的这个援助呢，其实还有哪一些这个机构的援助可以帮助到逝世家属们度过这个难关呢？来，我告诉你吧。首先有第一个就是国家天灾管理机构，就是很多人知道的NAMA。好，根据NAMA最近的这个发布呢，只要是卫生部证实该逝者是因新冠病毒而逝世的话呢，那他们的这个逝者的家属可以向NAMA申请一次性高达5000令吉的援助金。OK， 接下来就是我们知道的 KWSB。那 KWSB 是为逝世公积金会员家属提供的一项慰问及援助。那如果你的这个公积金会员如果是在60岁以内之前去世的话，那家属可以在6个月，一定要在6个月内去申请一个2500令吉的死亡抚恤金。那这笔的死亡抚恤金呢，将会一次性的发给家属。然后最后呢，也要提醒大家，我们要 stay home, stay safe and be positive。
您的企业有好的规划吗？ASQ Consulting Group 拥有超过38年的专业团队，无论在商家企业的创造、成长，乃至进入腾飞级、沉稳发展的每一个阶段，都带着共同一致的前瞻性理念及专业所长，致力于提供以客为本的专业企业咨询服务，以站式服务为客户带来便利，在充满挑战以及要求快速达标的环境中，提高服务性价比成效。客户是最终受益者，享受多元综合的一站式咨询服务。ASQ Consulting Group 协助超过1000家工厂。您的企业有好的规划吗？ASQ Consulting Group 拥有超过38年的专业团队，无论在商家企业的创造、成长，乃至进入腾飞级、沉稳发展的每一个阶段，都带着共同一致的前瞻性理念及专业所长，致力于提供以客为本的专业企业咨询服务，以站式服务为客户带来便利，在充满挑战以及要求快速达标的环境中，提高服务性价比成效。客户是最终受益者，享受多元综合的一站式咨询服务。ASQ Consulting Group 协助超过1000家工厂在马来西亚设立，是 Alineo Global 的成员之一。Alineo Global 目前是世界第2大的会计联盟，在86个国家或地区设立了超过600个会计事务所，能为客户提供不同国家或地区的投资咨询和市场知识，协助投资者扩展业务。而今，随着 Ecovis 的加入， ASQ Consulting Group 也能在企业上市的筹划上提供优质的咨询服务。我们15位股东与董事，加上230位职员，期待为您的企业尽一份力。
Good evening, everyone. Hold on. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our webinar series. Oh, it's been a long time since we have an English session. It has been the Mandarin session for quite some time. So yeah, so it's a privilege to have back our speaker for this evening. Our sharer for this evening to come and share with us. Of course, to also reply to your answers, and if you have reply to your questions, okay, to give you answers. So I can't see because it's a bit late. I realize today's slide is a bit slow, but of course, welcome and thank you for joining us this evening at our ASQ webinar where we share and we just we connect with all of you online. And it's a privilege to have met Mr. Tony. Okay, hold on. So excited. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Dorothy from ASQ. And if you have not joined us before, ASQ is a one-stop platform for you where we have different services which include secretarial and of course tax audit, and we do have outsourcing payroll. And one thing that I want to mention today is the business and advisory that we can assist companies. Like I got a call this afternoon where they actually requested for HR services. And of course, yes, we do have strategic partners to actually assist for HR related matters. So if you need these services, do ring us up, drop a call and just, let us know. Okay. So we're going to pin the number later at our chat box. Okay, so I'm going to just share with you now. It's 017-684128. Okay, if you don't get it, it's fine. Okay, I'll just pin it later. So you can actually WhatsApp us in, or you can call our office. We do have our receptionist back in the office for operation. So no worries if you call the office, we will pick up your call. Okay, so today it's a bit different. Okay, because usually we do have our speaker to share everything, but today yeah, I'll be together with all of you. Yeah, so Mr. Tony, we had one session in June before under Just Ask Tony. Okay, he is also a frequent speaker. He's also a speaker for Alina Global, which if you have been with us for quite some time, you would know. Alina Global is the second largest association in the world, with I think the current numbers is in 98 countries with almost 700 officers, okay, to assist you with your needs. So if you would need services in other countries and you need any inquiries, do also call us up. Okay, so today we're going to invite Mr. Tony together to join us this evening as you post your questions. Hold on, let us just invite Mr. Tony in first. So if you do have questions, you can just post it up, okay, at our chat box below, which you can see. And then once you post a question or anything you want to ask, we will just send to Mr. Tony, okay? And if you have questions that you might want to keep your identity private and confidential, it's fine. We're okay with that. So just drop it to 017-681128. Okay, so I've just posted this up in the chat box. I hope all of you sees it. Oh, okay, I need to pin it. Hold on. Okay, now, Mr. Tony, would you just like to say hi to everybody first?
Right, good evening, everyone.
Yep.
Can you all hear me? Welcome to this session. I am very honored to be invited. You can ask me anything. Nothing, as long as it's not private and personal. I don't answer private and personal questions. But you can ask me anything, no worries.
Okay, so we have Peter on the line to say good evening to you, and we have few people you can see on the screen. People just come out and say good evening to you. Okay, so one thing I want to mention: the last time when we had this session during June, when we just started our lockdown, is that everybody started posting in question to me when we're supposed to end, and we as professionals, as auditors, as tax agents, as accountants, we will always want to adhere to the time frame. Yeah. Okay. So we want to do that. So if you have questions, don't be last minute. Okay. Be early. Okay. So this is just a reminder to everyone. So I'll keep the ball rolling because I do have questions, okay, that I've gathered from some. Okay, I do have some questions. Let me just start off the question while all of you, started thinking about it, and everyone. Okay, so third question. You just mentioned that it's not very personal, right? I don't think this is a personal question. Okay, the question is, how do you keep your mind sharp? Okay, and decisive. Okay, if you don't know who Mr. Tony is, you can look at his, crown of glory over here. He's a very wise person. That's why people do ask him for a lot of advice. Okay, and so how do you keep your mind sharp and decisive on the new issues arising as you age in glory? Yeah, that's the question. How do you keep yourself sharp and decisive?
I got to scratch my head, as you can see. That helps. But basically, I think for most of us, I think to keep an active mind, somebody will tell you that you have to really read, to keep reading a lot of things, rubbish as well. Read anything that comes before you, anything relevant or even irrelevant, just to keep the mind working all the time. That's all I can say. All right. And that's why I always tell everyone, you have to read. You have to read. You have to have a habit of reading. All right. When you are younger, you will read all sorts of books like novels, technical magazines and things like that. But as you grow older, as long as you can read, if your eyes can still permit, is to read everything. Whether it's the question of relevance doesn't come in, read all nonsense. Anything that comes before you, read. Because once you stop reading, you fail to, your mind actually stops. All right. Reading is, I think, will get you going. All right. Reading. That is all I can say. Reading. Right.
Do you have a favorite author or any favorite articles that you normally read?
At this stage, as I say, you don't have to worry about any favorite author. Read anything. As long as your eyes can open and you can see what it says, read. All right? Okay?
Yeah.
Read whatever you can see.
I saw someone in the chat replied that, are you referring to Facebook? Is it the Facebook, the book? Do you include that? This is a very good question. Okay. I think it's a very good question.
Peng knows me. I avoid. Remember just I said no personal questions. I avoid all social messaging service. I do not subscribe to any social messaging service other than the WhatsApp, where I write and at my will to reply. But other than that, I do not subscribe to any social media platform.
Is there a personal reason on why?
Yes, I just do not want to be, I'm not an open person. I don't believe in, letting everything out.
Okay.
So I try to minimize the risk. I mitigate the risk, as I say, right? You see, when you go on a social media platform, because with the news travel so fast, effectively what happens is that people can befriend you in a second. They can unfriend you in a second as well. Your whole, if they were to spread some rumors about you, right? It can be so real that within that second, you could be blacklisted everywhere. That is the worry about the uncensored social media platform, all right, the uncontrolled platform. Because once it's open, it's very difficult to control it. All right. So I do not include Facebook in the books I read.
By saying this, right, I think it's very honored to have one of our early founder, where if you've been following us for this while, you know that our CEO is Mr. Joe. So Mr. Tony is actually also the founder when they started ASQ almost 40 years ago, right, when it was founded. So I think it's an honor because Mr. Tony, although he don't try to search on Facebook, you cannot find him, okay? I can be the witness today, you cannot find him. So I'm so honored that actually he don't mind to actually come and share with us on social media. Okay, so it's an honor. Okay, so if you don't play Facebook, so you read, so during your spare time, okay, no, I think this question is not very good. Do you even have spare time, or you actually fill your time up with reading? Do you have spare? What do you do for leisure? That's the question, I think.
Sleep.
Sleep. Okay, so I hope it answers those that ask this question. Besides reading, Mr. Tony sleeps. Okay, that's why if you're gonna be someone who is sharp, and quick to decide, you need to rest sufficient and read. But how did you do it? As you know, you're an auditor, you know, you're an approved auditor. How do you do it with all these things on hand? You know, how do you just manage all this?
That's why actually when people ask me how do I spend my days, and I tell them I'm actually very busy. But I'm actually very busy because the mind is always working. All right, the mind is always working. So I used to tell people, even if I'm walking, I'm thinking. I can work anywhere. All right. So I mean, I do not entirely sleep all the time in leisure time, but of course, I daydream. That I think would be a more appropriate is that my leisure time will be daydreaming. All right. Okay. And I'm not a sporting person, so I do not take up sports. All right. So I do not take up sports. Or worse still, now under MCO, virtually zero, no sports. All right. Okay. So of course, I do other things. I do my indoor exercises, all right, but that's all. Other than that, in the morning, that's why nowadays I sleep quite late and I wake up quite late, and that's the problem why I'm not an early riser. I do not an early riser. I try not to set appointments before 10. All right, that's why I try to set it after 10. All right, and now more so after 11.
Okay. So since we are on this topic of being an auditor, an approved auditor, okay, we know that auditors sleep very little. This is what I always hear around. So as an approved auditor, okay, now you're an advisor, we have a question that asks you, some auditors said that they will not ask their children to study accountancy because they have suffered enough. What is your opinion?
I will say that that seems to be the general adage that if you are an accountant, you try to tell your children not to be accountant. But I think that is a misnomer. I think generally a lot of people actually tell people, if you want to get a living, study accounting. All right. So there's a paradox. All right. But basically, for me, I'm a very liberal person. I never enforce my idea on anyone. That's why I allow my children to decide what they want to do. All right. I would say not because I do not ask them to study accounting, but I allow them to choose what they want to do.
Okay, I hope that answered the questions. Now, audit and account. If you would like to give advice to someone who is going to this field, so if they're considering audit and account, which one would you advise? Is there a specific one?
Audit is a spin-off from accounting. It's rather not a it's not separate, all right? And the more question will be, do you choose an audit profession or do you choose an accounting profession per se? All right. I always say that to be a good accountant, you start off as an auditor is the best approach to it. All right. Audit as a platform to start your accounting career. All right. That's
Why?
how I would look at it. As
Why?
I said, audit allows you to gain experience in all areas of discipline within accounting. All right. And that is the best approach for you to start off. All right. Be an auditor first before you become an accountant.
Okay. So you go through the messy part first, in a way, right? The difficult one first.
I wouldn't say difficult. I would say that you see when you're in audit, you do verification. From the verification, work backwards, and from there you will understand the details required. What are the things required to build the foundation of what you need to build a house? Audit allows you to do that.
Okay. So it's something related to critical thinking. It's very important. Yeah. What about if it's sorry, you continue?
Yeah, critical thinking is what you say. It's very important. That is something that auditors actually exercise that. They should be exercising that all the time.
Okay. What about if we have audit versus tax?
Tax is a different thing. Again, like I say, tax is a totally different vocation. All right. I think it's not a question of which is better. All right. I would say that if you are a more, how would I say, it is not easy to describe, because I think if you have a mind of a regulator, right? If you think more in the enforcing world, then tax would be a better profession.
Okay.
All right.
More in the enforcing world.
Yep. If you feel that you like to be a regulator, right? Tax is a very good profession.
Okay, I think it's also helpful for people who maybe they are considering which to go into. Sometimes people might want to switch, you know, for the younger generation, they might want to switch somewhere. So if let's say, because we know that this in the accounting profession, right, or the audit profession, the people that practice, not practice, when they work as an auditor, okay, in a firm, they are actually also studying, taking their papers to complete their studies, right? They're doing both at the same time. So what kind of advice would you give to these people, you know, what kind of advice to manage themselves so that they can actually work professionally and also study and to get the best out of it?
Not necessarily audit. In any profession, in any work where you have to work, study, they call it work, study. You have to work and study, you have to balance it. You have to balance it. And my experience all the year, I noticed is that I found that people who have got commitment, meaning you must have an objective up in front. People who have got commitments tend to do better. They work harder to make sure they pass. All right. And it takes a lot of effort. And Mr. Cole, who is present today, will tell you, it takes a lot of effort. All right. And I will tell you all, Mr. Cole is my star ex-staff. And he's a brilliant person. And he has shown to everyone that he can study and work and pass his exams without attending courses. Because all it takes is effort. He put in a lot of effort. All right. And he would be a better person to answer that question. But to me, my experience is that people who tends to do much better has got a commitment. Where people who feels that, never mind, I can take my time to pass, life goes on. Takes a long time to pass.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And why I say that is because all the people that I work with, that I went through, a lot of my friends, they were married, they had children, they had to come back to Malaysia.
Yeah.
And all those people tend to pass rather than the bachelor who likes to go to the pub, who thinks that life should be enjoyed before they settle down. They take longer to pass, period. That's all. So, like everything else, you must have commitment. That's what I'm trying to say. If you don't have that commitment, yes, that's right. If you don't have that, it is going to be very difficult. Work study is very, very difficult, I'm telling you. All right. Okay.
I have a friend. Okay, I have a friend. He was studying ACCA. Because I think there's a time lapse. During his time it was 10 years. So, what happened to him? He's a guy. What happened to him was because he had a girlfriend, and the mom told him that if you did, because that was, I think it was a 9-year of his or 10-year, and the mom said that if you don't pass this year, you cannot get married. So that was his goal. You must pass this in order to get married, because this is your last year. If not, you must take, must retake everything. So when you're talking about the goal, it remind me of this story. He had a goal in mind. That's why he, I think, if I'm not wrong, he eventually complete that in that year before getting married. So this is a very good reminder to all of us, join us this evening, that I think in life, we need to have goals. We need to know what we want to achieve, and not just, just go with the flow and just go by days. You can be very chill, like how Mr. Tony, he's very chill about things. Of course, not all the time, but he has a goal. He knows what he wants to achieve. So that's a very good reminder. Okay, I saw this question on the Facebook and the chat section, and I think this is a very interesting question. Okay, and I want to ask this question. Okay, so we're talking about audit and tax. Okay, let's just go to this question first. The question is, where is the best seal yolk? Yeah, so there's this question, where's the best seal yolk?
Well, part of my reading nowadays includes reading food blogs, food articles to tell me where's the best seal yolk in town. Every one of us wants to know where's the best seal yolk. All right, and I think it's a question of taste, and all of us, I think in the last 18 months, the only thing we can think of is FOOD, food. That's the main thing on the mind, food. All right. And of course, in JB, I'll be honest with you, when people ask me about JB, I always say that Johor Bahru is a dump. D-U-M-P. It is a dump. So if you want seal yolk, you're not going to find it in Johor Bahru, all right? Okay? Nothing compared to places like Kuala Lumpur, all right? Even Kulai. Kulai used to have a damn good seal yolk place. I think Vance knows. In Kulai, there's a place which they sell excellent seal yolk. I'm telling you. All right? Okay.
Right. So have you been, you always frequently go there for seal yolk, right?
I have been there. I wouldn't say I frequently go there. I have been there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so that's the best. Okay, so according to Mr. Tony, the best seal is in Kulai. So maybe Mr. Tony can share the address later. So if anybody wants a seal yolk, you can have a try. Okay. Okay, so that was a very interesting question. I've never thought of that. So yeah, that's why I like the question. Okay, there's this question is it's challenging. Okay, let's see. There's this question that says this. So Singapore adopt audit exemption for companies for those fulfill the conditions. Okay, for example, if turnover is lesser than 10 million, as and one of the example. So do you think that Malaysia will do the same as Singapore's practice?
Okay,
What's your opinion? What's your opinion?
Malaysia will not do that at the moment. All right, but I think with the complexity of audit, and I believe they will set a threshold like Singapore. They will do that because that is the trend towards the whole of the world. All right, because if they don't set threshold, it is going to be very difficult to do audit. Very difficult. All right, I think the threshold has to be set. Otherwise, it does not achieve anything. All right, because the small companies really do not need an audit. All right, so it is the quantum at which they set it. All right, the quantum at which they set it. All right, they have to set it at a reasonable quantum. All right, and must be high enough so that the small companies do not need to carry out an audit. All right, okay, that threshold will come in. All right, will come, but for now, I don't think it will happen.
Okay. Yeah, hope answers the question. Okay. This question is also challenging, but I think it's easy for you. Can you share the information about the capital statement? I don't really understand that. Do ASQ provide capital statement service?
It depends on what you mean by capital statement. For tax purposes, and even for financial purposes, capital statement is actually financial position statement. A statement of financial position. It is a statement of your capital as at a reported date. When we refer to capital statements, namely, we refer it for income tax investigation purpose. Yes, of course, this is something, if you are being investigated, you have to supply capital statements to the revenue. Similarly, you could, if you capital gains tax comes in, all right, if Malaysia introduced capital gains tax, we will have to do it annually for every individual. All right, and that is something that any accounting firm should be able to do. It's just like doing a balance sheet, all right, statement of financial position.
Okay. Since this friend asked us about ASQ, what kind of services? There's this question she came in privately that asks, what's your vision for ASQ? Although that we know that you are the advisor right now, okay, you are not the main player, but as a founder, what is your vision for the firm ASQ? Yeah.
My vision is, of course, sustainability. I like to see the firm carry on, right, to be the next PwC, right, 100+ year establishment. That is everybody's wish, all right. And I think, but even if you look at the history of firms like PwC, Deloitte, the founder actually don't last as long as we did, all right. And I tell you, they probably die off before it reached 38 years, all right. But so far, we are doing quite all right, all right. And of course, the things that the legacy is sustainability. That's the vision I see, all right. And of course, if you want to have a firm, it must be sustainability. I think it must be a sustainable firm. And a sustainable firm means it must be able to withstand. That means you looking forward, it is going to be a relevant firm, a firm of relevance. That is the more thing. It should be a relevant firm. All right. Meaning, if the audit get removed, you are no more doing audit, you will be able to change, just as I wear gray and green, a chameleon. All right. So
yeah, it's a bit difficult to focus because everything's the same color. So you must focus, Yeah.
Adaptability to change.
Correct. Right.
relevance. You must stay relevant.
Correct.
With the final objective being sustainability. All right. So
Yeah.
even when we are gone, you will have ASQ.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That is the vision I see.
Okay, sustainability, yeah, relevance and adapting to changes. Okay, you see, because like just now you have mentioned that we have been into this situation for the past 18 months, okay, 1.5 year, and like a lot of companies they're actually opening up, okay, they're going back to office, and then like Johor, I think is it these few days we're actually going to phase 3, right? So we are moving towards tomorrow, right? Moving towards opening up. So but because we are okay, how do I say it? The numbers are not actually dropping, of course, the numbers that we see. So some management are still actually considering working from home. Right? As someone that have gone through different what I call that, different scenarios, different situation, different challenges, like you, what do you think of it? You know, will remote working be something that it's actually long term? What do you think of the remote working from home style?
Okay, first the pandemic. The world's strategy towards this has changed. It is no more a restrictive policy. They realize that it is not possible, that the herd immunity actually doesn't work, all right, because with the mutation of the variant. That's why they now talk about a policy to handle the endemic. But from day one, it has always been the most critical thing is neuropathic drug, means drugs that can cure the virus, that can kill the virus, rather than a vaccine that prevents it, all right? So now you can see that there are drugs coming online that can cure COVID, all right? And of course, one thing from the pandemic is shown is that countries have not invested in healthcare. Those countries that have poor healthcare infrastructure is seeing the worst of it, all right? And even within Malaysia, you look at Johor. Johor took a longer time to move into phase 3 and 4 compared to the other states. What it means is that they have not invested in healthcare in Johor. Johor do not have that allocation. All right, that's the first point. Coming back to the working arrangement, to me, I see that as the pandemic as a catalyst. If you look back at the way we work, remote working is not new. It started on what we call flexible hours.
Correct.
And the pandemic now has pushes the flexible hours to become home working hours. It's the same. We could have still called it flexible hours. But going forward, what will happen is that I think it will become the norm. Flexible hours will become the norm. I did not use the word remote working. I said flexible hours will become the norm. You can work everywhere because now technology allows you to do that. So we call it remote working. But it's no different from flexible hours. You can work anytime, any place. And remember what I said earlier on. For me, I have always said that even when I'm walking, I'm working. Now, that's exactly what's happening. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. What has changed is information technology. It allowed you to do it remotely and digitally. That has changed. The rest, to me, is a evolution from the flexible hours to now working from home. And it will go forward. I would say is that work from home equals flexible hours will stay. All right. And what will disappear is if IT catches up, if everybody buys into IT, then you will have 80% remote, 20% physical.
Okay.
And what that means is your office space will be reduced. There will be nothing. The unfortunate thing about this is that we never learn from history. If you look at what I have presented before, in the 80s, when we were with Morrison, the Morrison firms was using a program called Lotus. Lotus Notes allow you to do what you are doing today, 365. You
In
could
the
have done
80s.
work. Yes, you could have done. Vance could ask Vance. You ask Vance. Lotus Notes, right? The Morrison firm people, when they were sharing experience, were telling us they work from the airport. Because in Europe, within an hour, you can travel everywhere. They meet at airport, they do what they need. The admin staff goes into the office, scan the documents, put it into the server, everything goes out. They use Lotus Notes. All right? So we are, if I may say so, we are 30 years behind, 30 to 35 years behind. All right.
All right. I'm just thinking, when you talk about flexibility working and because of us being behind and because of the pandemic, it actually escalate us to actually pushes us. It actually pushes us to adapt to what should be done. Okay. I'm just thinking, it just comes to mind where a lot of people will comment this when we have flexibility, or when the term that people use when we work from home, there's this thing called the trust issue. The trust part where the employers might not, I want to use no or yes, might not trust employees. So in this case, what's your opinion? How do you see this?
In HR management, very important. I was going to say that actually before you asked.
Sorry.
Trust and empowerment. If you want your staff to work, you must allow them empowerment. That's why I use the word in a lot of my talks. The staff themselves must discharge that responsibility. So the trust is not so much that the employers do not trust, it's the employees must discharge the responsibility. And it's for employer to recognize that discharge of responsibility. And that's why I always say, in a week, you have 40 working hours. I don't care what you do. At the end of that 40 weeks, if what has to be done is done, that's all I need. All right? So this question of trust and empowerment are very important in HR management. But when you raise it and you say that I don't think they are productive when they are working from home, then you don't trust them. That is not a basis of measurement. All right? Okay. The basis of measurement should be you can work anywhere. You can work under the sun. You can go down to Bali, enjoy the beach, as long as end of the week, because now we have got remote. It's done. Don't come and tell me that the internet is poor. You don't have a printer. I have no access to the mail. Sorry, that's not my problem. So, end of the week, this is what I want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So you set goals for it. You set goals to achieve it.
That should be your KPI. Nothing else matters. I don't want to know how you work.
Okay. Yeah.
You do the job, the quality I want, quality and delivery. I always say there are only two factors, quality and delivery. And that's what clients look for.
True. Very true. Yep, I agree to that. I think it's very important. I think if you can just do a work in a short time, of course that's the best. But if what you produce is of no quality, then it's equal to zero. Yeah. So it's very important. That's why yeah, as this professional, I believe that Mr. Tony has gone through so many things, and these are all the all the G's of it. It's very important to ensure quality in what we do. Okay, we are almost running out of time. Let me pick one last question. Okay, just one last question. Oh, okay. Let's see. So sorry because today's session is very special because we actually, if you do not know, ASQ has two Facebook. Okay, one mainly it's for the Mandarin. Okay, Mandarin, in Mandarin words. Okay, everything in Mandarin, and another one is in English. So I've been looking at the Mandarin for some time. Give me a moment. Let's pick some question from the English. Okay, let's be fair. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go with the last question for today. The question would be, okay, I'll pick this. What is the difference on the industry between the 1890s and nowadays? Yeah, I'll go with this. What are the differences, I think?
In Malaysia, nothing has changed. We have not kept pace with the development. All right. We are too complacent. We are too complacent. And I think part of the reason is because I think we are not driven. We are not driven. All right. Okay. And we don't look at the outside world a lot. We have become inclusive. I think that is where the lack of competitiveness comes in. All right. We don't look at how the other people are progressing. All right. And I will tell you that between the 80s and today, 30 years down the last 30 years, within the audit industry, I will tell you, it's still the same. All right.
Why?
You have people who are still signing away. You have people who still do not bother about improving themselves. You have people who do not look at how other people practice. And the example I gave you is the example on the Lotus Notes.
Okay.
We are about 35 years behind. All right. We are not 1.5 G behind. They say now we're in a 4.0 digital and we are still in 2.0. I'll tell you, we are worse than that. We are 35 years behind. All right. That is exactly what is the mindset of a law industry. We are not training accountants who are thinking accountants. And we are not developing the profession to reflect the status that we have. And there's a good example to compare is always our neighbor across the causeway. You look at how the institute, the Singapore Society of Accountants, then they have moved. They moved from the name from Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Singapore to now the Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountants. And they are now an accounting hub. We were talking about we being the accounting hub. Then they've overtaken us. All right. So sadly to say, I do not see the industry growing, developing. If anything, we are regressing. All right. We are regressing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I think in this case, what could be done for all of us, that we need to read more, look up more, seek more, right? To
Certainly,
know more. Yeah.
Yes, of course. And we have to be more competitive. All right. In the sense that the profession must be developed so that people see a need for accounting. You see, we do not grow partly because the industry players, the manufacturers, the retailers do not see accounting as a professional need. And in terms of professional maturity, we still have not matured. You ask any clients, they will just, because I need to have the accounts audited, because I need to submit tax returns, they don't see the value. All right, that is the biggest problem.
Okay, wow, that is quite a heavy message for everyone that's online, but it's very important, likewise, to think about it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's a few questions that we will post to Mr. Tony for today, but do not worry, because we are planning to have it, like every few months. So we will have it back for sure soon. Okay, the last time we had this was in June, and now it's October, so you do your maths, you should know when you should be back. Okay, a few months later. So before ending our session, actually what we did was because Mr. Tony has been in this industry. Okay, he has been he has been working diligently and because he has a passion. Because of his passion, he has been in industry for so long, and like most of the people, maybe they are up to this golden age, and they'll say, no, I want to take a break, I want to rest, I want to relax, chill. But Mr. Tony has been there, and if you have not been an employee, or you have not been in ASQ, worked here before in the audit industry, Mr. Tony is someone that still has the energy, the energy to speak to you for 4 hours straight. Okay, this is the truth. He can speak to you 4 hours straight, and he will and the more he speaks, the more excited he is, because to him it's very important to impart the impartation, because to him he wants to do the impartation to tell the younger generation, or to tell auditors, this is the way that we need to look at, so that we move forward and not backward. So what we did was we asked a few people, what kind of encouragement and what kind of things you want to you hope that Mr. Tony can achieve, or to actually train up. Okay, most of the time the employer will tell the employees, do this, do that, right? Okay, so now the employees have some idea, but sometimes they're a bit shy, don't want to say. So yeah, so I'll just pick a few, okay, because of time. People, they are responding, say that thank you, you are actually a very excellent example in the firm, okay, in the firm, and that your guidance, oh, this person English not very good, okay, coaching, okay, your guidance and coaching has been encouragement to the staff, and we will do our best, and hope, of course, that we will not cause you to feel bad. Okay, this is a nice word, but the person wrote heart attack. Hope you don't get any heart attack. Okay, and that someone hope that you actually exercise more to be healthy. Okay, there's one person who has a very interesting response. Okay, I think this person's response is same as just now the Siu Yok story. So this person says that actually this person asked whether do you like to travel with the company, with the company staff, and then this person say that hope that when all this is over, okay, when things get better, we actually get to travel, as a company trip, to learn and to build quality relationship. I don't know who is this, but if I do know, and if Mr. Tony gets to travel, I'll put you in the same group, okay? I'll put you in the same group, okay? And then I'll let you all do projects together to train your critical thinking. Yeah, and the last three, the first is someone mentioned that, your handwriting is like a doctor, Dr. Tony. So sometimes it's like a guessing game. Like today, we got Fine Tony. You cannot really see him because the color is the same. So he responds that it's very hard to guess what you're writing, but they understand because it's just you. Yeah. And the last one is that hope that you continue to be healthy and stay with the firm as you age in glory, because the team, okay, I believe not only the team, everyone is online, or even those that are not here today would need your advice and guidance on many things to be better overall. Yeah. So this is about it from what response that I have. Okay, so we are at 9:20, and we really thank you. Sorry, any last encouragement from Mr. Tony to everyone online? A last reminder?
Next year will be my 50th year since I joined the profession.
The profession?
Yes, I started in 1972. So likewise, my advice is don't give up. The youngsters today tend to give up very easily. Perseverance is very important. Things does not always come the way you want it, but that is life. And in life, you really got to work at it. Some of us have to work harder than others, but that is life. You have to take whatever comes. Whatever is thrown at you, you have to take it. Because if you don't, in these 18 months, your mental health will be dealt a severe blow. You have to take it as it comes. That is life. All right?
All right. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. All right. Okay. Thank you once again for Mr. Tony for joining us this evening. And thank you all online that have been with us, and to just chill and just to listen. And next year is the 50th year. So if you have any ideas on mind that you want to do, please do PM me, okay? I welcome all sorts of ideas. I love creative ideas. So we never know. Maybe we can have party or full of a lot of siu yok, but maybe we have a different room for our other friends who can't take siu yok, okay? But it's fine. Yeah, we are one Malaysia. Okay, so once again, thank you, Mr. Tony. Thank you all online. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Thank you.
您的企业有好的规划吗？ASQ Consulting Group 拥有超过38年的专业团队，无论在商家企业的创造、成长，乃至进入腾飞级、沉稳发展的每一个阶段，都带着共同一致的前瞻性理念及专业所长，致力于提供以客为本的专业企业咨询服务，以站式服务为客户带来便利，在充满挑战以及要求快速达标的环境中，提高服务性价比成效。客户是最终受益者，享受多元综合的一站式咨询服务。ASQ Consulting Group 协助超过1000家工厂在马来西亚设立，是 Alineo Global 的成员之一。Alineo Global 目前是世界第2大的会计联盟，在86个国家或地区设立了超过600个会计事务所，能为客户提供不同国家或地区的投资咨询和市场知识，协助投资者扩展业务。而今，随着 Ecovis 的加入， ASQ Consulting Group 也能在企业上市的筹划上提供优质的咨询服务。我们15位股东与董事，加上230位职员，期待为您的企业尽一份力。